Hi everyone, welcome in Tips and Tricks Decor. Please share and subscribe to watch more. 35 open kitchen ideas for totally seamless living. The latest trend in kitchen design is as functional as it is stylish. An open floor plan kitchen is like white walls in today's domestic sphere, so ubiquitous that sometimes we forget there are other options. But how to maximize your open kitchen so it functions seamlessly and also reflects your style? That's the question. Well, we have answers, a myriad of them, compiled from projects we have featured. Some designers like to differentiate between cook space and dine space via breaks in color or pattern. Some like to pull the whole open room together by sticking to one decorative scheme, and some use the kitchen as their playpen, experimenting with styles, objects, and interventions they wouldn't be brave enough to use elsewhere in the home. Whatever your whim, we've got pointers on how to execute it. Read on for 35 ideas on how to decorate your open floor plan kitchen. One way to explore several ideas in one room without the end effect appearing overwhelming is by color matching each individual material. In this Los Angeles duplex by all decor list designers Charlotte Hyman, metal mesh screens that separate it from the living area. The industrial Zandra pill-shaped ceiling lights complete the there but not there mood. The plus when working with a lot of space is that more can truly be more. In this Milan apartment, maximalism is the rule. The kitchen and abutting areas are kept fun and cohesive with a few overarching themes: stripes, ocean blues, pinks, and purple. Knickknacks and flea market finds like the kitchen table abound for a bit of added flavor. In this Brooklyn kitchen by Design Studio Civilian, it seems at first that less is more. Less here in the way of furniture and color. Only one dose of strong color red is delightfully employed on the hood of the stove, complementing the nearly black teal range below. Less is also more in terms of stuff. More than enough storage space for all the kitchen necessities you could ever need is provided by the custom island and wood cabinets that cover the right wall. If only part of your kitchen gets good light, use IT. In this Park Avenue pad, designer Georgia tapered how deployed light, springy tones to effervescent effect. The cabinets, just out of sight, are painted a calming tone of cream, while in the breakfast nook a light mint green rolls, complemented by the poppy light blue lacquered table tapered how found on. One SD dibs. If you are blessed with the opportunity, why not let magic lead in your home? Utility spaces like kitchens can be neglected in an overall design scheme, but El Decor list designer Bill Brockschmidt made sure the kitchen in his Sicilian palazzo had romance to spare. All that was needed was the right space. The 600 BC cave that makes up the home's lower level was turned into a kitchen and dining area with just a few small adjustments. The cabinets are custom with antique Sicilian majolica tiles used as a backsplash that perfectly pair with the rough-hewn walls. The caveat of decorating a historic house, like this 16th century raw house in Paris, is that very little can or should be changed in the layout. Here, French designer Eric Allart breathed new life and light into the kitchen with an unexpected color combination. Dark gray paint on the cabinets and a black tile backsplash define the cooking area, allowing it to fall into the background. Meanwhile, the pink paint on the walls reflects the bright natural light coming in at the window and honors the original terracotta floor tiles, while infusing the space with joy. In this bite-sized New York City apartment, it was crucial for architect's method design and interior designer Nina Barney Blair to maximize space. Nowhere is that more apparent than in the kitchen, where the island doubles as a workspace. With the living room sharing space just across from the kitchen, Barney Blair also touts the possibility of turning the bar stools around and using them for extra seating post-dinner. If you have the space, fill it. In this Greenwich Village apartment, William Cullum approached the kitchen like he would any other room, filling it to the brim with color and antiques. The larger your kitchen is, the harder this approach might be, but the effect can be powerfully unique and inviting. Here, Cullum used a bright pink buy safe to store china, flanking it with matching bookcases for cookbooks. When you have the space, use it. In this luxurious Ibiza, Spain crash pad, the kitchen doubles as a breakfast room with a dining nook across from the sink and stove. Casa Munoz covered the built-in bench with striped dark cushions that subtly complement the blue floor tiles. The vintage Pastrana chairs are by Jose Luis Picardo Fordero. You can keep a space calm, neutral, and inviting while mixing different contemporary design with antiques. The secret is limiting your material palette. In this Manhattan home, interior designer Tino Ramchandani kept the kitchen's appliances straightforward and modern. Warm-toned wood on the cabinets added warmth, and the apparatus light provides the perfect counterpoint to the well-worn trestle table below. In kitchen of this Hampton's Retreat, designer Sandra Weingart leaned into the natural woods that Bates Mossy covered the ceilings, cabinets, and island with, keeping them in mind when she designed the dining table with Casey Johnson and selected the vintage Pierre Genre chairs and stools. Now, thanks to a design scheme that asks to be kept in the background, the owners can congregate more than 20 people happily in the space, with conversation centered over a clunky or busy aesthetic. The kitchen might not be the first room that comes to mind when we think of where we want to put our taste on display, but when yours is centrally located and visible to every guest, you kind of have no choice but to go big. In this kitchen, created by all decoralist designer Hans Peer, everything, from the brass-covered cabinets to the marble countertops, is custom and deeply glamorous. Vintage bar stools by Marcel Breuer bring in a collected element. The kitchen might not be the first room that comes to mind when we think of where we want to put our taste on display, but when yours is centrally located and visible to every guest, you kind of have no choice but to go big. In this kitchen, created by all decoralist designer Hans Peer, everything, from the brass-covered cabinets to the marble countertops, is custom and deeply glamorous. Vintage bar stools by Marcel Breuer bring in a collected element. In the tiny kitchen of this Roman apartment designed by Alvise Kirimoto, a lot was done with a little by leaning into the constraints of the space. The slanted ceiling above the stove shares traits with the slanted design of the parquet floors. Elephant's Breath paint by Pharaoh. In the quaint and colorful Victorian Oxfordshire house of Tosio Susie de Rowan-Wilner, the kitchen was decorated with freedom of movement in mind. There is a breakfast nook, yes, but rather than tucked into a corner, it takes up one end of the room, inhabiting a generous portion of space, while allowing for movement from the adjoining rooms. Joyful pea green cabinets balance out the seriousness of the antique Windsor chairs and drop leaf table. In this Palm Beach kitchen by all decoralist designer Shelton Mindel, a sliding door was put in place to allow multiple possibilities. Closed, the dining area is a world of its own. Open, the chef can converse while cooking with their guests. When you have the freedom of movement an open floor plan kitchen allows, what better way to maximize the opportunity than mixing colors like you can't elsewhere? Cool and warm tones combine to make the kitchen in this Brooklyn apartment a visually engaging, exciting space. The backsplash is covered in green heat tiles, and Saarinen executive armchairs from Knoll upholstered in red ultra leather surround the RH salvaged wood dining table. If your open kitchen shares sight lines with another room, consider blending the material palettes between the two. In the kitchen of this New York loft designed by all decoralist designer Nicholas Abed, the vintage bar stools match the credenza beyond and the white marble island and white allied maker. Pendants tie the room together. Another fabulous way to define the space in an open kitchen is with print. In the kitchen of this Russian home, designer Tim Verosnovsky covered the walls, cabinets, shelves, and even a side chair with the same striped eucalyptus veneer wall covering. Tip: if you're going in this direction, try muted tones. Both colors alongside bold patterns can be overwhelming in compact spaces. If your open kitchen is visible from all angles, why not treat it to 5-star finishings? In this historic Washington, D.C. home, tiled backsplash was passed over for sumptuous Calacatta marble from U.S. Marble. The table and chairs are by Carl Hansen, the chandelier is by David Weeks, and the cabinets are by Bulthab. In this small Los Angeles apartment, space is at a minimum, so the designer's lawn had to get creative. The kitchen mix-up of two rectangular volumes, the island and the green lacquered box that separates the dining and living areas. Storage is available in both, plus the material choices provide a nice counterpoint to the brass-clad entryway at the left. In this dome house, renovated by Nick Fouquet, the kitchen follows the structure's curving exterior walls. When you're working with an irregularly shaped space, rather than trying to enforce a formulaic, right-angled layout, move with the naturally occurring curves or angles. Here, the bar pivots out of the Caesarstone countertop to allow for seamless movement between the kitchen and abutting rooms, while the rift-cut oak custom cabinets swirl around and hug the wall. The backsplash is covered in seafoam heat